Federal Reserve Governor Kugler resigns, Trump's chance for a new pick. A surprising shakeup is unfolding at the Federal Reserve, and it could reshape the future of U.S. monetary policy in ways many aren't anticipating. Adriana Kugler, a member of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors, has announced her resignation effective next week, throwing open a seat that President Donald Trump is now poised to fill. But here's where it gets controversial. This move comes amid ongoing tensions between Trump and the Fed over interest rate decisions, raising questions about the potential impact on the central bank's independence and policy direction. Kugler's original term was supposed to run until January, but on Friday, she declared that she will step down in just 7 days. Appointed by President Joe Biden in September 2023, Kugler, 55, is a respected labor economist with deep expertise in inflation and labor markets. Governors on the Federal Reserve Board serve 14-year terms, and she was filling a previously vacant seat. In her resignation letter addressed to President Trump, Kugler expressed pride in her work, emphasizing her commitment to a data-driven approach aimed at promoting a healthy economy for all Americans. She stated she plans to return to academia this fall, specifically to teach public policy at Georgetown University, where she previously served as vice provost for faculty and earned her Ph.D. in economics from the University of California, Berkeley. Kugler highlighted the significance of her service during a critical period where the Fed focused on its dual mandate of lowering inflation while maintaining a strong labor market. Interestingly, Kugler did not participate in the Fed's July 30th Federal Open Market Committee (FOMC) vote, where the central bank held interest rates steady between 4.25% and 4.5% for the fifth straight meeting. Notably, 2 of the 11 voting members dissented, siding with Trump's public calls to cut rates sooner, underscoring the internal division brewing within the Fed's leadership. The FOMC comprises 12 members, 7 governors, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York president, and 4 other Reserve Bank presidents who rotate yearly. Trump wasted no time reacting to the news, openly expressing his satisfaction about the vacancy and hinting at his intent to appoint a replacement aligned with his economic views. On Truth Social, Trump sharply criticized Fed Chair Jerome Powell, calling for his resignation alongside Kugler's, claiming both understood Powell was mishandling interest rate policy. This opens a fierce debate because Powell, whom Trump appointed in 2018 and Biden reappointed, faces a term as chair ending in May, though he may remain a governor until 2028. The president, power to appoint and designate Fed board members, and the chair is significant. Therefore, this vacancy could become a fulcrum for Trump's influence over monetary policy, possibly even setting the stage to replace Powell himself. Economist Derek Tang noted to the Washington Post that Trump's ability to affect interest rate decisions could now accelerate and become more forceful with this new vacancy. Potential successors attracting attention include Kevin Hassett, director of the National Economic Council, former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, and current Fed Governor Christopher Waller, each bringing unique perspectives and policy priorities. Trump's long-standing feud with Powell is no secret. He has repeatedly labeled Powell as a stubborn moron on social media for resisting early rate cuts. However, removing a Fed chair is not straightforward. The president can only do so for cause, such as proven wrongdoing or neglect, not merely for policy disagreements. Many experts warn that any attempt to force Powell out prematurely could unsettle financial markets and damage the Fed's credibility. This evolving story raises numerous questions for public debate. Should political leaders wield more influence over Federal Reserve appointments and policy? Does an early resignation like Kugler's signal deeper fissures within the Fed? Are economic decisions becoming too politicized? For those interested in the broader economic landscape, Kugler's departure is not just a routine personnel change. It's a pivotal moment that could redefine U.S. monetary policy's path through turbulent economic times. What do you think? Should presidents have more sway over the Fed's direction, or does independence remain crucial for economic stability? Share your thoughts below and join the conversation on this high-stakes issue affecting every American's wallet. Fed governor resigns, BLS commissioner fired, investors react. When key figures within the U.S. government make unexpected moves, markets are quick to react, and this recent chain of events has certainly captured attention. Just as the Federal Reserve announced that Governor Adriana Kugler would be stepping down from her role effective August 8, a wave of speculation rippled through financial circles. Simultaneously, President Donald Trump ordered the dismissal of Erica L. McIntyre, the head of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, following the release of data indicating that job growth last month was stronger than anticipated. This combination of leadership changes in crucial economic agencies is raising eyebrows and sparking debates about the integrity of the data underpinning U.S. economic policy. But here's where it gets controversial. Are these moves purely administrative, or do they hint at deeper intentions to influence economic perception and policy? Experts in investment and economic analysis have weighed in with mixed feelings and critical observations. For instance, Sam Stovall, chief investment strategist at CFRA Research, suggests that if the administration appoints a highly dovish, easy-money-friendly head of the BLS, investors might start questioning whether the reported figures are being tailored to favor certain policies. He emphasizes that the credibility of U.S. economic data, being seen as unbiased and accurate, is one of the pillars that makes the country an attractive investment destination. When these foundations shake, doubts about U.S. exceptionalism can emerge. Others, like Peter Anderson from Anderson Capital Management, point out how every data point and statement related to the economy is scrutinized intensely by markets. The timing of these personnel changes, he warns, seems almost intentionally disruptive, adding layers of uncertainty that make it even harder for investors to confidently chart their next move. Meanwhile, Jamie Cox of Harris Financial Group notes that Kugler's absence from recent meetings and her sudden resignation seem to be a deliberate signal, potentially a way for the president to influence the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC, and sway monetary policy discussions by shaping its composition ahead of key decisions. Cox also highlights the ongoing issue of inconsistent data releases from the BLS, which has undermined trust in the official employment figures over recent years. On the legal and ethical front, some voices suggest that firing a BLS official for releasing unflattering data questions the independence of these crucial institutions. Steve Sosnick, chief market analyst at Interactive Brokers, describes the firing as troubling and unprecedented, raising concerns about whether the data can be regarded as objective in future reports if it's subject to political whims. Other analysts, like Tom DiGaloma, see these moves as signals from the administration that it is under pressure to push for lower interest rates, something Kugler's resignation might symbolize, while also noting unconventional economic signals such as changing Treasury auction results, which could reflect strategic shifts by banks amid regulatory adjustments. Across the spectrum, there's a consensus that these leadership changes could significantly influence not only market dynamics, but also the broader perception of data integrity and policy independence. Experts warn that if political interference becomes too overt, the trustworthiness of economic metrics could suffer long-term consequences. So, here's a question for all. Do you see these adjustments as necessary leadership changes, or are they a sign of deeper concerns over data manipulation and political influence? Share your thoughts. Do these moves strengthen or weaken the credibility of U.S. economic reporting? Adriana Kugler resigns. What it means for Trump's Fed nominee and interest rates. Imagine this. A key figure at the Federal Reserve is stepping down, handing President Trump a golden opportunity to reshape monetary policy. Dr. Adriana Kugler, a distinguished member of the Board of Governors, made a surprising announcement on Friday, revealing her decision to leave the central bank. This move comes at a crucial moment when Trump is fiercely advocating for lower interest rates. Addressing Trump in a formal letter, the 55-year-old Kugler remained tight-lipped about her reasons for departing, simply mentioning her return to academia as a professor at Georgetown University in the upcoming fall semester. It has been the honor of my lifetime to serve on the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, Kugler expressed in her letter. I am particularly proud to have contributed during a pivotal period in fulfilling our dual mission of curbing inflation and maintaining a robust and resilient labor market. Kugler's tenure was originally scheduled to conclude at the end of January 2026. Nominated by President Biden, she joined the board in September 2023, succeeding Lael Brainerd, who transitioned to a role as a Biden economic advisor. As a governor, Kugler held a permanent voting position on the influential Federal Open Market Committee, which determines interest rates. But here's where it gets controversial. Kugler's resignation opens the door for Trump to appoint a nominee who aligns with his economic vision. Interestingly, two of Trump's previous appointees, Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman, voted against maintaining the Fed's key rate in the most recent meeting, advocating instead for a rate reduction. Kugler was notably absent from this vote. In a bold move, Trump speculated, without providing evidence, that Kugler's resignation stemmed from a disagreement with Fed Chair Jerome Powell over interest rate policies. He further stated that he was very pleased about the vacancy, hinting at his intentions to fill it with a like-minded individual. Recently, Kugler has been known for her hawkish stance, advocating for stable rates until the full impact of Trump's tariffs on inflation becomes more apparent. Fed Chair Jerome Powell extended his